Good afternoon. I have myself, I have my computer, I have a mild sunburn, I don't know if you can see, and I have my cup of tea. Welcome to Write With Me Live. If this is your very first session, welcome. Can't wait to have you. This is basically a session where I sit down for an hour and I write a blog post live. The aim is just to kind of give you an insight into how I write, how I think about ideas, what strategies I use that make me a successful writer on Medium. And if you're a longtime viewer, welcome back. It is great to have you. All right, so I've been on holiday. So my mindset is, I don't know, I'm not in the writing mindset today. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes when this happens, I take a break and I'll recycle an old article or I'll just do some like brainstorming. But today I do want to try to push through it. So I'm gonna scroll through my drafts until I see something. Doesn't matter how old it is. We're just gonna keep scrolling until we see something that makes me be like, you know what? Actually, I would like to write today. So scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Hi, Eli, Ellie, Eli. I'm just either one. Ellie, I think. Jessica also not feeling super motivated. You know, we do what we can. Yeah, I have a lot, I have a lot of drafts. I've been writing for so long, and sometimes these stories just they never turn into some of these. Some of these did turn into stories. Like this one, I turned it into a story just somewhere else. None of these super grabbing my attention, to be honest. Maybe selfish people. I mean, this draft is old, but maybe I can turn it into something fun, something interesting. All right, so one of my tips for when I don't know how to start writing, I try to think of the one person who I'm writing to. And I'm like, okay, so in this case, I'm thinking actually of my sister. She has a friend who, she was cool, she was funny, she was sparkling, she was popular, and my sister like would bend over backwards to help her, but actually she was super, super selfish. She was always putting herself first. She never prioritized other people. So I'm writing this to my sister at that point in time, and I'm saying, you know what, if you had known these, maybe you could have avoided this, or you would have at least been better positioned to deal with the fallout. So, hi. Sometimes I actually write like, hi, I won't tell you her name, but hi, sister. And then I write this as though it's to her, but I don't think I need to do that today. If I were talking to her, I would say that. I would just say, look, you can go your whole life Okay. Let's see. What's trait number one? All right, thinking back to this. Secretly. Is that too clickbaity? I don't know. We'll put a TK here. I'll come back to that. Is discardable a word? I'm not being autocorrected, so I'm just going to assume it is 100% correct. What's another word for acquaintance? Acquaintance synonym. Contacts. It's, I don't love either of those. Discardable friends. Discardable contacts who won't get too offended when I'm borrowing on my sister's experience here. I didn't actually have that. Well, I mean, I'm sure we've all had friends. And that's actually just reminded me of what my second point should be. There we go. Okay, I just want to write that down before I forget it, because I don't know if this happens to you. A lot of times I'm in the middle of writing one paragraph and I get an idea for my next paragraph. And if I focus on my first paragraph, it'll be gone. I'll never remember it again. So I always try to like focus in on like chase my tangents before I lose them. She sparkled at every party and frequently had people bending over backwards to give her whatever she wanted. I pursued my friendship with her because I always felt like she really liked me. I only realized too late wing woman on a night out, or I always try to do my listicles in this kind of format per listicle, where I sort of explain what I'm talking about. I give an example and then I give the solution. In this listicle, I don't know what the solution is for this. I guess like the solution would be to spot it, right? So some people are just shy. Okay, and then again with listicles, I always am super careful. A listicle is, I get asked this a lot, right? Like, is a listicle an okay way to write? Is it not overdone? Is it super clickbaity? The truth is, yeah, listicles are clickbaity in the purest sense of the word. I'm trying to get people to click on this, and I do my best to sort of counteract that clickbaity aspect by giving them a good reason to click, and not just click once, but the next time they see a clickbaity listicle from me, they're like, oh, you know what? That last one was really good. I'll give her a chance on this one too. And the way I do that is I don't make stuff up. Okay, this I did make up. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've put a TK in here because I want to go back and find some psychological scientific paper that backs that point up. I'm not just spinning yarns out here. I'm actually writing something that is true. And I'm not the one saying it. Science says so. So that's why I've got a TK in here. And that's what I always try to do with listicles, right? Give people a reason to read and then come back again. Don't make stuff up. Selfish people are masters of subtle manipulation. I think of a good example here. We can do a hypothetical. I don't have to tie every single point back to like my reality. If you're with your friends and one of them says it. No matter what, for selfish, I feel like I'm going to be saying selfish a lot. Self-centered. I need a word without self. Egotistical or egocentric. All right, while I'm pondering on my third bullet point, I'll answer some questions. In case you're new to these, I always like to stop when I lose my train of thought or need a break from writing. I stop and answer some questions in the chat. So if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them there. I'll get to them when I need a break from writing. So one from Jessica Bug. I saw your update about Medium purchasing the book publishing company. Will you be testing fiction pieces? Okay, so I'm going to announce this here first. You heard it here first. I was planning on testing fiction pieces. I was going to actually try to post, for those of you who don't know, I'm writing a fiction book just because it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Since I was, I always thought I'd be a fiction writer long before I realized I was going to be a blogger for a living. So I've been thinking about publishing fiction. My fiction chapters under Wattpad, under a different name, not my pen name or my real name. But I was also going to try testing some fiction on Medium, again, under a second name, just to sort of test the waters. Medium acquired the book publishing company Glose, I still don't know how to say it. And I think that this means that their positioning on nonfiction books is 100% going to be changing. I'm interested to see if that changes for fiction as well. I'm hoping that as the market of nonfiction readers increases on Medium, fiction readers and fiction writers will get a little bone thrown to them too. So we'll have to wait and see. Do you know, or does anyone know, about publications that publish short forms? I do not know, but it appears that Jessica Bug does, saying there's one called Everything Short Form for anybody else who's interested. Which publications would you recommend for the psychology niche? All right, I want to show you a quick tip in case these have never occurred to you. Whenever I want to know what a good publication is for a topic, what I do is I go to medium.com/topics/ can't type today. Can't ever type, to be honest. Psychology. Did I spell psychology right? It's because I did topics. There we go. So I go onto the top page, pick out psychology, and I see which ones pop up frequently. So here, let's see. There aren't, a lot of these are self-published, which I think is interesting. Curious, the Startup, Illumination, the Startup, Childhood and Education, Socrates Cafe, Holistic, Forge, Fast Company, and Injustice, Mind Cafe. So I look through these to figure out which publications might be the best fit for my story. I typically go with Mind Cafe for my psychology stories, but that's because I have that experience where I've published in Mind Cafe with my psychology stuff. It tends to do pretty well, so I'll probably do that again. Sometimes Mind Cafe rejects my psychology, so totally within their rights to do so. It's not everyone's cup of tea. And if that's the case, I always publish in my own publication. Zuli writes, because Zuli is writing about psychology. I created a Chrome extension for Medium, and I wrote a story to promote it. However, I'm having trouble to find a pub that accepts it since it's about Medium. Any ideas? So I have seen some people writing about Medium, especially with the programming type of programming. If you can make it, I don't know how you created this Chrome extension, but if you can make it specifically about coding, like how I built a Chrome extension that helped me analyze my blog posts rather than specifically about Medium, that angle might be enough to sort of get you around the bend. The issue is that Medium automatically does not curate anything about Medium. So publications are normally a bit leery of publishing Medium-centered stuff because it hurts them too. How do you like Wattpad? Any tips for that platform? I've never used Wattpad, which is part of why I'm so excited to try it out. I'm really excited to be able to answer questions like these properly because I love writing fiction and I know about vocal media and Medium and Newsbreak, and I'm excited to find out more about Wattpad as well. How do you get your ideas and where? How do you decide which idea is worth a blog post? Yeah, I often don't know. Sometimes I write something. Like I'll go through my latest, let's go through my latest stories and I can just sort of talk about what made me want to write them. This one I wrote on a previous Write With Me Live. I just wanted to write something that would be easy to write and something that was fun. And I love, actually, I've got one, I don't know if you can just make out her tail over there. I've got one cat with me right now. And I just wanted to crack something out. This one I wrote because I saw a lot of people going viral on Twitter and I just wondered, why? Like, what's the point? Why do people try to go viral on Twitter? What could it possibly be worth? And I answered that question in that blog post. This one I got because a ton of people were asking me. Let's see what else. Yeah, honestly, I write about stuff that I like. Whenever I have a question or I have a conversation with a friend, sometimes that sparks an idea. And the ones that make me feel the strongest, that's how I know they're the ones worth writing about. But all right, back to writing. I need to give a psychological source for that. That's why I've TK'd it. I am really drawing a blank. Okay, come on, let's brainstorm. Selfish people, they get what they want. They're subtle about getting what they want. What else? What else is a tell about selfish people? I mean, maybe I'll turn to Google. How to know if someone is selfish? Oh, I see I've already done. I never want to copy from something else. So doing research, especially for listicles, can be tricky because I do not want to plagiarize. And sometimes it's really hard to avoid stealing ideas if you see them to turn them into your own original ones. So we're gonna be careful. That's one that I did not steal. I just got that from the definition of selfish, without regard for others. hair. Go away, hair. All right, so other people get hurt around them. Selfish people prioritize themselves above all others. One of the symptoms of this mindset is that the people around them are often casualties. My sister was one of the boys in my sister's social circle was deeply self-centered. He was charming, so he was able to avoid detection for the most part. But I'm trying to think of what exactly, like how other people got hurt. The more specific details you can get, the more believable and honestly more engaging these stories tend to be. So other people get hurt around them. I still need another word for selfish. I've written selfish about 10,000 times. Selfish. 12 times. Okay. Okay, number 4. I might have to. All right. They have a lot of acquaintances, but not many friends. They never ask for anything directly. Other people get hurt around them. They seem to lead a charmed life. And what I mean by that is that most of us have to live with compromises. Most of us live with compromises. We get this, we give up that. Selfish, we do this to live companionably with other people. Being in a society just means there's give and take. It's about companionably being in society. Selfish people often seem to have opportunities fall into their lives and dreams come true with startling. Let's see, because compromises are foreign to them. In case you're wondering, I do write like this even when I'm on my own, not in front of an audience. I just holler to my screen. All right. I'm going to stop and take a break for questions. How How about trending or live breaking news topic? Does it index faster as other news sites? I would say no, I don't think so. I think Medium prioritizes long-term evergreen content, so that makes me suspect that they would not be as fast to index as breaking news. They don't seem to care much about reporting what's happening right now. They seem to be more involved with reporting context around what's happening right now. And I mean, often that takes a couple of days to put together in a cohesive way. So no would be my answer. I see Medium has started allowing custom domains again. Is there an SEO advantage to having a custom domain? I do not know enough about SEO to answer that question, but if anybody else has an answer for Andrew, please post it in the chat. Are you going to let us know your pen name for Wattpad when you start posting there? Probably not, just because I'm very, very shy about my fiction writing. It's scary. I've been doing blogging for so long that I've become more impervious to when people don't like my writing. But I feel like if I show people my fiction writing, at least at the beginning, I'll just be too worried about what other people think about it rather than like writing for myself. So probably not at the start. I got some great suggestions for selfish people. That's awesome. $50 for Gareth Willie, sorry, amazing. Nothing worth having comes easy, so true. Self-absorbed, thank you, I will be using that one. How can I find a publication for a certain theme? For example, I wrote an article about the fourth industrial revolution, and now I can't find a publication that accepts it or that fits well. Sometimes there aren't sometimes there aren't publications that fit stories well. And if that's the case, you just have to bite the bullet and publish it yourself under your own profile. If you're writing a lot of those, that might be a hint that you should create your own publication and put those stories in there. However, I mean, I don't know much about the fourth industrial revolution, but if you can think of a way, an angle that could help get it into like lessons from history, or Postgrad Survival Guide does a lot of stuff about freelancing and work. Sometimes it's just about going to that topics page, medium.com/topics, and seeing which ones fall towards you. I can't answer this question for you because I don't know enough about your story, but there probably will be a publication that is a decent fit. And if there isn't, you should just self-publish. Do you find articles get more views when you publish them in your own publication or other publications? Debating on starting my own pub. Any advice? I don't really have enough data to answer this question. I almost always publish in other publications by default, partially because I'm scared of not getting views when I publish in my own publication. The few times that I've self-published or published in my own publication, they've typically done okay if they get curated. They do terribly if they don't get curated. Because the audience just isn't there unless you can get curated if you're not publishing into a bigger pub. The reason I pursue having my own pub is because, first of all, it's good to have a home for stories that don't fit elsewhere. Secondly, I control my relationship with that publication. I can send newsletters that fall right into people's inboxes through my publication that I can't do with my profile. And sometimes I want to have a call to action at the bottom of my story that I'm like, hey, sign up to whatever to get cool stuff. And other publications won't let me do that because they have their own call to action that they want to put. So if that's the case, when I want to promote something or it's not a great fit, or I want to focus on building my relationship with my followers, I put it in my own publication. It is a trade-off. You do have to spend time doing that. But I find that trade-off to be worth doing. Do you use Twitter to promote your articles, and how do you grow your Twitter following? I don't really do anything to grow my Twitter following. I don't even know how many followers I have. Find out. Profile. Oh, I've got over 1,000. No, I have never done anything actively to grow my Twitter following. I just tweet out random stuff. Nothing really special. Okay, so actually here's an example of promoting my article. I saw this tweet went viral, and then under it, I literally just wrote a story about why people try to go viral and the benefits. And people, it's because they get commissions from these. She got paid money to post that link there. I mean, look at all this random, look, another one of the weight loss thread. Oh my gosh. So then I quote tweeted that, I think, and I said, yeah, look, I wrote a story about this. It did not do very well. Let's see, what are the analytics on this bad boy? 6 people clicked on that link. So there you go. All right, back to writing. Now for the example. What is my example here? I don't know how to hide this. Am I even connected? Okay, there we go. Or if, what's another alternative? Or if, all right, I'm just gonna do one more, I think, because I want to keep this tight-ish, and I still have to do my research on finding out whether I made all this stuff up or not. Okay, so what's another thing of selfish people? They don't really like to fail, I guess. Although that's not really, it's not really a selfish thing. Most of us don't like to fail. They never give back. Thank you to, I think Candy suggested absorbed. If only I can spell it correctly. I'm just thinking, I'm pondering here. I'm gonna light a candle while I think. All right. Most of us are I'm going to use Vasco's example here. I hope that's okay. I'm just brainstorming. I'm going to come back to that in a second. It can be tough to acknowledge when you've been manipulated into someone like that. But the sooner you identify the signs, the sooner you'll get back to living life on your own terms with true friends who support you. Okay, so we've got a rough draft now. What I like to do every time I write a story is I read the whole thing top to bottom. And the reason I do this is because, as you've seen, I write very quickly. I make a lot of mistakes. I have thoughts going in every which way direction. Reading it out loud makes me slow down, focus on what I'm saying, and yeah, just make sure that I'm not spouting a bunch of rubbish. So, 5 traits of I kind of like secretly selfish people. Psychologists say these are the signs to watch out for. Now, because I've said this in my subtitle, I don't want to lie, so I will be going through and finding a source for all of these, or I'll change it. The funny thing about selfish people is you can go your whole life being friends, coworkers, or lovers with them, and you never know it, especially if you're the kind of person who gives with no limit. Selfish people know how to cover their tracks. It's in their best interest to keep you around and happy. They're masters at knowing how much they can get from you without going too far. However, using science and psychology, it is possible to spot these traits before you wind up wrapped around this person's little finger. These 5 traits are dead giveaways for people who will always put themselves before you. Number 1, they have a lot of friends, but not a lot of acquaintances. No, other way around. They have a lot of acquaintances, but not many friends. Selfish people cultivate a network of people. I said people too many times. Selfish of friends who can help them when they need it. To form a long-lasting, healthy friendship, you need to have a give and a take. Selfish people prefer instead to rely on a loose group of discardable contacts who won't get too offended if they ask for too much for the umpteenth time. Selfish people prefer instead to rely on a loose group of discardable acquaintances who are easily cultivated. When I was in college, I was friends with this girl who was the life of the party. She sparkled, fun, elegant, beautiful, and subtly selfish. She frequently had people bending over backwards to give her whatever she wanted. I pursued my friendship with her because I felt like she really liked me. I only realized too late that she kept me at arm's length and only called me when she needed something, whether it was a wingwoman or a night out, or to bring her tea from the local cafe. Some people are just shy. How can you tell when this is someone who's truly selfish? After all, some people are just shy. Others, like me, really believe they are best friends with selfish people. Don't assume that every single person without close friends is actually selfish. The giveaway is in the rotating group of acquaintances. Number 2, they never ask for anything directly. Selfish people are masters of subtle manipulation. I already said that somewhere. They're experts. You'll know you're in the company of someone deeply selfish if you find that you or other people often are doing things that benefit the person without them having ever explicitly asked you. For instance, if you're with your friends and one of them says a few times how chilly they are and how much they wish they'd remembered a jacket, notice what happens next. Frequently, they end up with someone else's coat, or maybe the group relocates to a warmer spot, no matter what the whole bunch wanted to do in the first place. If selfish people always asked for exactly what they wanted, they'd be immediately outed as the egocentric people that they are. Egomaniacs that they are. I've got rid of that because I feel like I've said people way too many times here. Instead, they make subtle comments and queries that accomplish the same thing, but without giving their behavior away. The pattern to watch out for is when this happens often. Other people get hurt around them. Selfish people, at their core, prioritize themselves above all others. One of the symptoms of this mindset is that the people around them are often casualties. Usually the casualties. One of the boys in my sister's social circle was deeply self-centered. He was charming, so he was able to avoid detection for the most part. But especially the female friends in that circle found that they were hurt. I hate it when that happens. Thank you for bearing with me if you're still here. If you're not, though, totally get it, because that sucks. All right, where was I? One of the boys in my sister's centered, charming, so he was able to avoid detection for the most part. My sister only began suspecting when she noticed especially female friends in that circle found that they were hurt. Casual, cruel comments that could be written off as jokes, forgetting dates, reneging on promises. People are fragile. We're easily hurt. Selfish individuals don't take time to care. We all hurt each other sometimes, but selfish people have a pattern of consistently hurting those around them. Not intentionally, but because they just don't care enough to take the steps normal people take to avoid harming the feelings of our friends and family. Number 4, they seem to live a charmed life. Most of us live with compromises. We get this, we give up that. We do this to live companionably with other people. Being in a friendly society just means that there's give and take. Selfish people often seem to have opportunities fall into their laps and dreams come true with startling frequency because compromises are foreign to them. If there's someone in your life who's always getting promoted, celebrating wins, or enjoying who enjoys an extraordinarily high rate of success, it's possible that it's all due to them and their talents. But it's also possible that they stepped on others to get there. Self-absorbed people view their relationships as either tools or obstacles on their climb to the top. To differentiate between random luck and consistent selfish behavior, try to identify the byproducts of success. If people are being asked to give up things that matter to them, or if they get hurt on someone else's journey, it could be because that person is selfish. Number 5, they never give back. Selfish people are on a road to victory, their own victory, and everything they do is geared to help them achieve that. If someone is truly self-absorbed, you'll notice that nothing they do is free. Most of us are a little selfish to some extent. I'm always reluctant to help I'll change this to partner with chores, for example. Maybe you don't like to give up your things when your friends ask to borrow them. This isn't that, though. Selfish people never do anything for others unless it benefits them in some way. To find out if someone is selfish, try asking them for a big favor. If they make an excuse or only do it with strings attached, it could be because they're not actually generous or giving at all. They're selfish. Most of us are a little selfish. I've just said that. Some of us show this behavior on occasion. Most of us are a little selfish. It's part of human nature, and there's nothing we can do about it. And for the most part, it pays to forgive others and ourselves for our occasional self-absorption. But truly selfish people are a deadly combination of draining, hard to be around, and weirdly difficult to spot. You'll find yourself giving up your time, energy, and priorities for them time and time again, and always wondering what could be enough. I'll spare you the trouble. Nothing will ever be enough for them, and finding that out the hard way could cost you your friendship. Deeply selfish people are often charming. They often make us feel like we're friends. It can be tough to acknowledge when you've been manipulated by someone like that. But the sooner you identify the signs, the sooner you'll get back to living life on your own terms with true friends who support you no matter what, not only when it fits their agenda. Ta-da! Done with the article. Okay, so I'm not done with the article. I have a couple things I need to do. First of all, I want a picture. We're going to come back to the picture, though, because I don't really know what I'm looking for yet. So in the meantime, I'm going to try to find science to back up what I'm saying in each of these bits here. Before I do that, anybody has any questions? Are followers on Medium worth anything? Are stories promoted to your followers? Yes, and if what Medium says is to be believed, followers will matter more now, not less. I have 20,000 followers, which sounds like a lot, but it means that when I publish and I don't get curated, I can normally guarantee that about 1,000 people will view the story. Obviously, this depends on if I put it into a publication or if I get curated or what the title is. If I don't get curated and I'm not in a publication and the title isn't fantastic, it's about 1,000 over like a week-long period or so. 5% is not amazing, but it's better than nothing. And what's more important is that the more followers you have, the more likely you are to hit a sort of critical mass. And what I mean by this is when I hit 10,000 followers, I don't know if I just loved titles better or if I did something else that made a difference, but that was when I first started getting really viral hits. Like, I mean, hundreds of thousands of views, thousands of dollars kind of viral is what I'm talking about here. The more people that follow you, like Medium's algorithm will show your story to a group of people that they think might be interested based on curation, publication, and followers. If those people engage with it really well, they'll expand that group of people and they'll expand it again like that. So if you have a group of followers who consistently engage with your content and you can count on them to engage with your content, that means that you're more likely to trip that sort of set of waterfalls that makes you go viral. I want to be clear. This is all me hypothesizing. I don't know any of this for sure. Medium has not emailed me the algorithmic secrets or anything like that. That's just been my experience. So conspiracy time over. How to delete attached video from my Medium draft. Please help. I don't really know what to do here. If you've tried delete and that hasn't worked, that is as far as I can help you there. Publications, publish my story, but my story is not curated even once. Why is that? So publication and curation for the most part is totally separate tracks, right? A story can be published by a publication and not curated, and something can be curated and not in a publication. To find out why your story isn't being curated, you just check out the distribution guidelines that they have. Distribution standards here. I'll post a link in the chat. Medium tries to outline as best as they can what makes a story curated and what doesn't. It's an art, not a science. Good writing is a highly subjective thing, but they do try to give a rubric for success. So if you're not getting curated, even if you're in publications, I would really, really study that. Get a friend to review your story. Read your own story aloud. Sometimes that makes all the difference. All right, done with questions. On to the science. We've got 7 minutes before I'm going to let y'all go. So let's see how much we can get done. Oh, here's something promising. Go back. That's not what I want. Oof, that's dense. That's not going to give me what I want. This might look good. All right. This is my favorite tool that I recommend everyone use, ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. Gives you free scientific articles. You don't have to pay anything to get to them. Nothing's behind a paywall. You can just click into it and just check out which one of these might be able to help you. What am I trying to back up here? Never asking for anything directly. I can get rid of science because I'm already in science. None of this is exactly what I want. All right, I might have to go back to Google. Selfish people manipulate. So one thing you can do, I don't like to cite from things that are like blog posts and not actually official like scientific articles, but sometimes you can do both. So if they have these types of articles, they often cite themselves to sources, like experts say. Let's see. Who are they citing here? Sherry Steins. Sherry Steins. Selfish. Manipulative people. Thanks for hopping on board with me anyway. Glad that you're bearing with this. Who is Sherry? Sherry Steins. is she? She's got a website. Bless me. All right, so she's a doctor. Dr. Sherry signs a, whoops. Okay. So I don't love that, but at least I'm citing an expert rather than somebody who is not an expert citing an expert. Selfish people prioritize themselves. I'm very hungry. It's making it hard to think. All right, this is all like giving me self-care type stuff. Nothing against self-care, but that's not what I want. I want science. Not a lot of science here. Only 184 articles. Let's see. Let's see, this looks interesting at least. And the other really good thing about using science articles is that sometimes you'll read something and that'll give you an amazing idea for your next article. So I cannot recommend this sort of strategy enough. I can get rid of this. Leaders. I'll never do. All right. Science. Oh. I don't love this. All right, let's try to find something else. Don't love that. All right, here's an interesting one. Are selfish people more successful? Huh, interesting. More children. Okay, so what I'm saying actually isn't true. Very interesting. I'd like to get into that. I'm nearly done, and then I mean, you guys can drop off, whenever you want. I'm going to keep going until I finish this, though, because I feel like we're very close. I just want to figure out about the author. Like, who is Nina Brown? Why should we listen to her? All right, let's try Ncbi again. Not able to find anything easily here. Let's keep thinking. What can we? Let's see. I don't want any of that. That's a good. It's better than nothing. Dorita Burnham. Who is Dorita Burnham? She's only written twice. I'll end with a final tip. Here's how you know how many words you've written. You do Command A or Control A if you're on a PC. And up in the top left corner, check that out. Oh no, hang on, come back. Nearly 1,300 words. So the reason I check is because I know that Mind Cafe, which is the publication I'm aiming for, likes for things to be at least a 4-minute read, which is about 800 words. All right, we're on the final stretch, people. We're picking out a picture. Therapy. The reason I like to look at therapy pictures is because it frequently has two people in conversation with each other. Sometimes one person looks a little like, and that's kind of the vibe I'm going for, like vibe, if you know what I mean. I like this one. I like that one. I want these to be horizontal. Oh God, that's a little heavy, isn't it? They're taking off their wedding rings. Kind of like that one, actually. What else have we got? I mean, what happens if we type in selfish? The problem with just typing in keywords, you get stuff that's like, I don't see how that's selfish. Okay, what if we try conversation? Group. Got high hopes for this one. Which one of these looks like it has a selfish person in it? You know what? I actually kind of love this one. I don't know why. I couldn't explain it. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Copy. The other thing I like to do when I go for a picture is I try to make sure that it's only been seen less than 1 million times. So Pexels actually tells you the number of times that it's been viewed. It's not a perfect art, but this way I avoid using pictures that have already been seen all over the internet. So like if you type in angry, for example, I have seen this image and this image and this image and this image. I've seen these all over. People use these for their blogs all the time. And you can see that this one's been seen 12 million times. So just by picking a slightly fresher image helps me sort of stay a little bit less derivative. So I used to add images under every block, but I stopped doing that mostly because I don't want to distract people. I like people to focus on my words and my writing. The one time I change that is if I'm talking about something personal. So when I talk about my cats or when I talk about my relationships, I'll usually include my own photos and I put those in more steadily. And sometimes when I'm worried that my readers might just be skimming, I'll just be like, all right, well, I don't know, selfish. It comes up. When you do that, when you put it in inline like that, it kind of forces people to shunt their eyes over and you sort of force them to recapture their attention then. But I'm not worried about that here. So let's see. And then I always go to publish just to see what it'll look like. Somebody recently showed me, I think it's maybe like Alt. Nope, that's not right. Here we go. That sets the new focus. So that was Option and clicking for anybody who's interested. Psychology, self, relationships, society, science. And then let's add application and copy. And we're submitted. Thank you for attending this Write With Me Live. I will see if anybody has any questions before I let you all go forever. Not forever, just till next Friday. Okay, just a couple. Should I stick to a particular category or should I write a variety of stories? How will it affect my followers? This is one area where the relationship between followers being weak is a really good thing. When I started writing on Medium, I thought I had to write about one thing, so I only wrote about my cats. I loved my cats. I loved writing about my cats. But I kind of got sick of writing only about my cats. I started writing about different topics, and the way Medium's recommendation algorithm works, it's very strongly geared towards topic rather than follower. What this meant is if I wrote about cats, my followers who liked cat stuff would see my articles. If I wrote about psychology, my followers who like psychology stuff would see that article. The ones who had shown Medium's algorithm, whatever, that they really liked me, obviously would see both. But you shouldn't worry about branching out. Really get into any topic that interests you and let yourself write about what you're passionate about, not sticking yourself into a single niche. That's my 2 cents. I think that if you put the definition of selfishness from the dictionary, it would be a good touch. I don't want to do that because I assume that people know what selfish means, and I don't want to sort of like, not insult them, but I want them to go into this like not with the knowledge that they already know what a selfish person looks like. And this isn't to help them know what selfishness is. This is to help them identify people whose behaviors might not be easily identifiable as selfish, if that kind of makes sense. Do you have any advice for people getting into freelancing? I'm doing a freelance video editing a freelance video editing service. Yeah, Ewan, you know what? I would say for that, you should probably just make sure that you do maybe write about it. That's how I got my freelancing clients. I wrote stuff like you could do like 5 top tips for editing your videos or something like that. And then put at the bottom, like I do freelance video editing services, or include it in your Medium bio or something like that. Do you only add 1 picture? Yeah, as addressed, I only do 1 picture just because I want people to focus on the words. I'm about to start writing on Medium, and I'm wondering if I should include my YouTube videos in my articles. Like if I do a book review and put my booktube video in the article. Yeah, I highly recommend doing this. So I did this, let's see, YouTube sex bots. So I did this with a bunch of my different articles, actually. I have an article, and I also have a video, which I linked in, and I linked to the article in the video, and this kind of cross promotion. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it does help get views a little bit and sort of let each audience know that the other audience exists, if that makes sense. All right, that is it. I'm caught up with questions. Thank you so much for joining me on this Write With Me Live. I can't believe we wrote an article in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Not too bad. So hopefully you enjoyed doing this and maybe wrote your own article or at least had a question answered. I can't wait to see you all next Friday. And until then, happy writing.